How's that? First of all, I'm glad to be back. This is the second time I unretired for President Trump, and I'm excited about it. So let's start this with Trump 45. When trafficking happened across the border, we realized trafficking was going on. What did we do about it? We established DNA testing. We made sure families were families. We did a pilot program. Some of the pilot programs show as high as 30% of families claiming their families weren't families at all. Fast forward to the Biden administration. They stopped DNA testing. They stopped a majority of the trafficking investigations. For 4 years, I woke up every day pissed off because I knew children were being trafficked. I knew women and children being sex trafficked. I knew children were coming across the border being released, the very people that paid to have them smuggled, that conspired with alien smuggling organizations to have their child smuggled, put their child in the hands of criminal cartels to be snuck across the border. And I knew, based on my 4 years of experience, what some of these children most likely went through. So every day I woke up pissed off. Because when you open the border up, people are going to come. When you make a promise to the whole world, you can cross the border legally, it's a crime, but don't worry about it. We'll release you within 24 hours, send you to the city of your choice with a taxpayer-funded plane ticket, put you in a free hotel room, give you 3 meals a day, and work authorization within 3 months. I knew the whole world was going to take advantage of that. The most vulnerable people in the world would take advantage of that giveaway program. And what did that do? It brought millions to the border, overwhelmed the Border Patrol. We're up to 70% of agents who are off the line, changing diapers, making baby formula, making hospital runs, making travel arrangements. 70% of agents off the line. There was several moments, actually many moments in that 4 years, where the entire sector of U.S. Border Patrol agents were pulled off the line to deal with overcrowding, processing, dealing with that humanitarian crisis. When you remove 70% of agents off the line, that's when bad things happen. That's when trafficking exploded to historic highs. That's when sex trafficking exploded to historic highs. That's when enough fentanyl came across to kill 250,000 Americans. That's when we went from 14 people on the terrorist watch list arrested during Trump 45 to over 400 under Joe Biden. So every day I woke up pissed off, so I couldn't wait to see President Trump win office back, because I knew we'd come back and we fix it, and we did. As of today, we got the most secure border in my lifetime, the most secure border in the history of this nation. And what does that mean? That means less trafficking. That means less, go ahead, that's great. Less no-inspected terrorists crossing the border, less trafficking of children, less sex trafficking, less drugs, less fentanyl, and we're bankrupting the criminal cartels of Mexico with President Trump. I said this before the election, and I say it again, and I mean it. President Trump will be the first president in American history to wipe the criminal cartels of Mexico off the face of the earth. So what are we doing? I can tell you we're all over the trafficking issue. Again, because the border's secure, we have less of it happening. Gotaways under Joe, and let me just mention, because these data points mean something. An average day under Joe Biden, we had 1,800 known gotaways. People who crossed the border, weren't apprehended, weren't fingerprinted, weren't vetted. An average of 1,800. Last 24 hours, that number was 21. Less gotaways. The reason there's less gotaways is because every single Border Patrol agent is on the line, vigilant, securing that border at the highest level ever. So there's not the opportunity, like was under Biden administration, for thousands of people to be trafficked across that border. Our main focus right now is not just make sure that border is the most secure we ever had, which it is now, is to find the thousands and thousands of children that were trafficked in this country, released to unvetted sponsors, and the last administration lost track of 300,000 of them, and they weren't looking for them. Another thing that pisses me off. What did President Trump do? President Trump committed to three things. When President Trump called me and asked me to come back, he wanted me to take control over three things. One, secure the border. Two, run the biggest deportation operation this country ever seen. And three, find these kids. So we've already located right around 10,000. I'm not happy. We got a hell of a lot more to find, and I will do everything in my power. This administration will do everything in its power to find every single one of these kids. Here's the problem. I'll just be frank with you. Because the last administration didn't do things right, because they didn't really care, these sponsors weren't properly vetted. I'm finding out through whistleblowers that many of these sponsors weren't fingerprinted, identifications weren't verified. So I can find you all. You all have a digital footprint, right? You all own cars, you own homes, you got credit cards, you pay bills. We can find you. But children don't have that footprint. They don't have what we need to easily find them. So we got to count on the footprint, the digital footprint of the sponsors. And when they weren't properly vetted, their identifications weren't vetted, they weren't fingerprinted. Now we're working with data that's just terrible. I mean, many of the addresses HSI is showing up at are parking lots, grocery stores. I know there's one case where one man sponsored over 20 children. How the hell did that happen? The last administration didn't care. All they cared about opening the border up, bringing as many people as they can. Because they obviously thought they were future Democratic voters, but they also thought they'd be counted in the next census, so Democrats earn more seats in the House. They sold this country out for future political power, and they sold the children out. But President Trump has made a commitment that we're going to find every one of these children. We have HSI agents every day going across this country. Despite what the media says, HSI is seeking down kids to deport them. We're seeking kids to save them. Some of these kids we have found were in forced sex slavery, sex trafficking. Some of these kids were in forced labor. You've read about them. Not all of them. Many of these children will be with families, safe. God help us, hope they all are. But that's simply not the fact. We have rescued children. We'll continue rescuing children every day. That's the facts you won't read about. I've actually asked for updated data that we'll hopefully get out in front of the presser in the near future. But I want you to know, every day I wake up, I look at the data, and I'm pushing as hard as I can. The White House president's pushing as hard as he can to make sure we're putting every resource available into finding every one of these children. And to permanently shut down sex trafficking and prosecute the animals that are involved in this. And for those that you're here amongst some of the best congressmen and senators in this nation, if you see them, shake their hand and thank them for the big, beautiful bill, because now we have a whole bunch of money that we're going to get more resources, more boots on the ground, more agents to knock on those doors, more technology to help us find these kids, more attorneys to prosecute the animals that are involved with trafficking. So the big, beautiful bill, you think we're doing great things right now? Hold on tight and watch what happens in the future. So thanks for having me. I appreciate you.